Hello everybody, welcome back to Ghostly French Toast, and today we're doing a video not necessarily on lore, but trying to explain who the hell is Radagon. Personally, I think in all of Elden Ring and probably Dark Souls, Radagon's up there for one of the most mysterious characters, not because his motives are mysterious, but we just don't really know a whole lot about what he is technically. So, enough dolling around, let's dive into the basics, what we do know. Who is Radagon? He is a war hero of the two Carian wars that happened. So, speaking to Muriel, the turtle in the Church of Vows, he talks about how Radagon basically was one of the Golden Order's war heroes. So he has been around for a little bit before becoming Elden Lord. But he was a war hero for both Carian wars, and married Renala, as we all know, so very silly, goofy, fell in love with Renala. I personally don't think he fell in love with Renala. I feel like Renala fell in love with him, as we see in the game where she becomes very depressed after Radagon leaves. Main reason being, I feel like that is Radagon has always seemed like he has ulterior motives, and we see with the Golden Order Greatsword, I think he was trying to fuse, because we look at fundamentalism as a whole, as a whole incantation class, it requires intelligence. So I think learning about the Carians and also combining what he knows with the Golden Order, combining that together, he was just using Renala in the end. And we see how he reuses Marika later. Left Renala for his side chick Marika, you know, as one does. Became Lord for Marika, as I just stated. I think there's ulterior motives that I'll discuss later when we discuss what the hell he is. Had 4 kids, somehow, as we do know that Marika and Radagon are one and the same, so not sure if that's self-cessed or like some self-pleasure masturbation type shit, but like, hey, grass grows, play ball type shit, you know? Try to modernize and civilize the Golden Order with the belief of fundamentalism. Fundamentalism is an interesting concept, just because, he was trying to fix the Golden Order in the end. After the Golden Order was shattered, he was trying to fix it, so in the end, he was trying to modernize it. He got rid of Colosseums, all the brutality of the Golden Order, and tried to, as much as he was a war hero, he participated in wars. For the Golden Order, once he became Elden Lord, he was like, nah bro, that's not cool type shit. So, what is Radagon exactly? And here's are the big questions we're going to try to tackle today. So, he is a part of America. Somehow one and the same. So when talking to Muriel about what Radagon is exactly, we learned that a sculptor sculpted a statue of him, and using a fundamentalist belief that uses past knowledge of Radagon, you can change the statue from America to Radagon to say that Radagon and America are one and the same being. But that raises a whole nother question. How can Radagon be a war hero while Marika was just kind of leading the Golden Order? And I feel like this also leads into the concept of lords in Elden Ring. I personally believe lords are what wage war. I don't think they really have any. They have power, don't get me wrong, in the Golden Order, but their main goal is to be the fighting force for Marika. They're not really lords or governors. They're basically one-man armies. Look at Godfrey. Look at the Tarnished and what in the Age of Stars ending. Look at Miquella and Radahn. Radahn was used as Miquella's strength to enforce his new rule. So it's weird how they are one and the same, but I'll discuss this in a second. Is he Newman? Maybe. That's another question, since he's one and the same. And can one change on their own, which is meaning like, hey, can they change on their own like some Jekyll and Hyde type shit, you know? And who speared them? So in this picture, we see that a bright red spear impales Marika, and there's never been really any acknowledgement of what that spear is. So enough talking around. Let's dive into the first part. Is he a Newman? Marika is Newman as looking at the Black Knife's description. As much as it doesn't really talk about the Black Knives, it talks how Marika had a connection to the Newman race, and that also pushes the idea that the shamans in the shaman village in the shadow Shadows of the Erdtree DLC, they're also a Newman race. And we see close by is the one of the fingerprint comets, which are known to be forces from the Greater Will. So I personally think, this is my little headcanon, where the comet right there brought the Newmans plus the Greater Will, because we know the upper north ruins, that was what brought Matir. Wow. No, that was brought the Golden Order, Elden Beast, while the one in the middle of the map brought Matir. So that's just something interesting to take note of. So I do think America's a Newman, all that. But the big concern is that Radagon had a life before engaging with America. I personally think that it's like some Jekyll and Hyde type shit, where Radagon existed on his own body beforehand, while also America was with Godfrey at the time. So I do think there was some kind of like balance, where Radagon was on his own, his own body, own will, while America's also on his own body, own will, because Radagon seems like he's having his own life while America's commanding the battlefields from afar. America's one and the same with Radagon. I think personally, this will be discussed more, that Radagon was a punishment for America's wavering faith in the Greater Will, and the Elden Beast, all that fun stuff. And personally, I think the Elden Beast, which is the envoy for the Greater Will, the arm of the hand of the Greater Will, if you will, enforces all the rules. So with America's wavering faith, I think America, or the Elden Beasts, punished America by making Radagon like a sort of watchdog kind of thing. And we'll see that when I talk about the spear. So, and also another little connection, the Nox maybe Newman. There's a lot of confusion with the DLC where the Newman race, there's not really any mention of the Nox, but in the DLC as a whole, which is a big weird point where, big point of contention where one of the biggest things were never mentioned. So that's just my little thing. Nox maybe Newman, America may be a Nox. It's a complicated, but you know the Nox came from the stars. We know the two big areas that the Elden Beast and Matir came from. One of them were connected to the Nox. So one of them were connected to Newmans. So by association, the Nox came from space, whatever, so they can be Newman as well. So interesting little idea. And they have gray skin, like how the Newman class starts, all that funny stuff. America and Radagon's relationship is a very interesting dynamic to take note of. I personally think, as stated before, Radagon was made to be a watchdog for America. So after America's like faith began to waver with Malekith, all that, and I do believe America had some involvement with the Knight of Black Knives. I feel like the Greater Will knew that, and the Elden Beast was like, yo, not cool, broski. Here's Radagon, a war counselor. I don't think America wanted Radagon at all. And we all know that America uses people to get what she needs, whatever. But I don't think America wanted Radagon specifically. I think Radagon was chosen by the Outer Will to become America's Lord forcefully. As said, forced to be America's consort by the Greater Will, in my personal opinion. And I also think the spear comes after the breaking of the, the Elden Ring. When America shattered the Elden Ring, I think America got speared after, which I'll discuss in a second. America hates Radagon. So in the game, we know that America is sending any tarnished at all, to go hunt down and kill Radagon. She doesn't care who, because we know in the Radagon, the Godfrey fight, that the tarnished grace is pointed to Godfrey, while Godfrey's grace pointed towards yours. She just wants someone strong enough to kill Radagon. In the end, Radagon is the main villain of the game. He's probably the reason why the world is how it is and how it's slowly just falling apart. She plans to kill him. I think hiding Malekith away, to try to hide the Rune of Death, so if Radagon got a hold of it, there's nothing that no one could do to stop Radagon in the end. Entire game, as stated before, that her plan was for any tarnished to go and kill Radagon. She doesn't really want the Golden Order to be fixed. She doesn't want anything. That's not her main priority. Her main priority is to kill Radagon. So I think that's a very interesting dynamic where it's like, what's it called? Two-Face from Batman, where one side hates the other. They don't like each other. They know one's bad, one's good, and they're just plotting to kill each other. Well, Radagon's not really plotting, but Radagon's planning to subdue and like limit America's reign and power while Radagon takes control. America wants the Golden Order and Radagon does not. As stated earlier, Radagon believes in fundamentalism, which means correcting the Golden Order like one step at a time, trying to get better over and over again type shit. Alright, here's my favorite slide, which I'm very excited to talk about. So, who speared Radagon? One of the big beliefs is Mesmer is very faithful. Mesmer is very faithful to America in a way that you don't really see in any other character besides like Morgoth, example. But even though Mesmer is known to be one of the children of Radagon America, sister or brother to Melania, Mikola, and Melina, never mentioned his father once, which I find very interesting. I think I'm going to discuss two theories. Mesmer is the one who did it, because in the name Mesmer the Impaler, I think Mesmer impaled Radagon. Because we know that Radagon America in the same. In the cutscene, we see Radagon fall from America, who was speared. So I think it's one the same type shit. But another theory that I have discusses the opposite. So, Spear is also red, while America's hair is a blondish white. So, what I mean by that, so Radagon has bright red hair. And when America technically falls to the ground after the boss fight starts in the cutscene, we see the spear go away and Radagon's bright red hair take over. So what I'm getting at is America's hair changes to Radagon's red after the boss starts. Don't mind red, that was my bad, don't look at that. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Changes to Radagon's red after the boss fight. So I do think Radagon speared. The spear itself is how Radagon is in America's body, because we know Radagon used to be his own character, but that spear goes away when Radagon takes control of the body. So that's my little mindset. Spear is also removed at this time, so that's the biggest thing where I think of where Radagon is his own character, but that spear is like kind of like an injection of Radagon in America's DNA, where if Radagon wants to take control, the spear will disappear. So that's why I think my final thing, Radagon is a whole separate character, but Radagon used to be separate, but the Greater Will used Radagon as a punishment for America breaking the Golden Order. First was like a watchdog when he became a consort. That's how they were able to have kids. That's something I feel like a lot of people are confused now, where it's like, how could the same person impregnate themselves and have kids? I believe they're two separate people, right? Well, that spear is the punishment from the Greater Will, or Elden Beast, after America tries shattering the Elden Ring. And so now Radagon is basically America. So that's my little timeline. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on Go Sleep French Toast.